On April 8th, something that has only happened a few times in the entire history of the United States is going to happen. And there's actually severe warnings that I'm going to show you, and actually executive orders that have actually been passed because of the dangers and warnings that I'm going to show you here in this video. Several that you actually might not even have heard about, but there's actually some pretty cool stuff that I'm going to show you here in this video that you might not know about here as well. So let's jump right in. Thanks for liking and sharing these videos. Here we go. So on April 8th is a total solar eclipse. The last one was in 2017, but these are actually rarer than you think and happen very, very rarely. We've actually seen executive orders. For example, here the state of Ohio, Governor Mike DeWine signed an executive order because of the chaos that they're expecting. Governor Mike DeWine says the safety and well-being of Ohioans is always at the forefront of everything we are doing. We have been preparing for the April 8th solar eclipse for several years to ensure that this once-in-a-lifetime event, which will pass directly over parts of Ohio, can be safe and memorable for all. The executive order directs all state departments and agencies to be ready and prepared to ensure the health and safety for all Ohioans and visitors before, during, and after the eclipse. The Ohio EMA is coordinating the state's preparation and response, in which they're expecting tens of thousands of visitors to come to Ohio and other states that are in the path of the eclipse. And all law enforcement agencies are prepared to respond with necessary personnel and resources to assist local law enforcement in contributing to the safety and security. And this is just for the state of Ohio. Only 21 solar eclipses have crossed the lower 48 states during the entire existence of the United States of America. The last total solar eclipse visible in Ohio was back in 1806. Put that in perspective, guys. 1806. And the next total solar eclipse will not pass through Ohio until the year 2099. I hope I'm still alive then. And with it going dark, essentially, during these minutes, a lot of people are literally urging people to stay off the roads during then. My son's entire school district is canceling school for the day. That's right. They literally cancel school. They don't want the buses to be out. They don't want the children to be out. And they also want them to go and experience the total eclipse, but not at school. So take that into consideration. Also, there's the safety of your eyes. That's right. And people might think that this is not a big deal. If you remember these memorable photos back from 2017, when former President Donald Trump was told by staffers, don't look in the sky when he didn't have his proper eye protection on. And then he proceeded to look up in the sky. Well, this can do some serious damage to your eyes. Take a listen here.
And for viewers, eye protection is an absolute must. And a prime example of this comes from 2017, when a Mount Sinai patient viewed the last total solar eclipse for 20 seconds without eye protection. Now, that individual has permanent eye damage.
Ophthalmologist Dr. Avnish Deobakta joins us now. He's a surgeon at the New York Eye and Ear Infirmary of Mount Sinai. Doctor, thank you for spending some time with us. You know, I remember back in 2017, right, there was a lot of conversation. Don't look into the sky as totality, you know, is starting to settle in, the damage that could be done. It's the same conversations we're trying to have with the public now as we go into just weeks away from the next total solar eclipse.
Absolutely. So I would say the number one piece of advice that we give people is to not look directly at the sun. So in the case that you had mentioned, the patient actually looked at the sun with glasses that she thought were protective. And in that case, they weren't protective. And so hence she ended up having damage to the retina, which is like the camera film of the eye. And unfortunately, we're not able to fix that kind of damage. So the number one piece of advice is if you're going to look at the eclipse, you absolutely have to wear the ISO standard glasses. And those are the 12312-2 standard glasses. You must wear those because you cannot use regular sunglasses to protect yourself.
Absolutely. Those are words to live by, especially if you plan on being one of the millions of folks that plan on watching the total solar eclipse. Tell me, so doctor, there's a new study about the rare eye damage from looking directly at the sun, especially during an eclipse. Can you tell me a little bit more about that and how that was discovered?
Yeah, so the study that we did was the one which actually looked directly at the specialized cells of the retina that receive the light. So we call those the photoreceptors, and that's a complicated word, but it just means the cells that receive light. Those cells are the ones that are the most affected when the eclipse actually shines its rays and you're looking at it. And so in this case, with this patient, we were able to image how the rays of the sun actually created a burn in the shape of an eclipse directly onto the retina. So it was actually in the shape of the eclipse that you would have seen in the sky in New York City.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, I'm sure a lot of people will have their phones out, their cameras trying to capture this event. Is there a danger there too? I mean, if you're looking through your phone, through that lens with the eclipse in totality, how does that present, some trouble?
So what I would say is that, if you're looking through the screen only, it actually, you're actually somewhat safe. The problem is, as we've all been to concerts, when you try to lift your phone up to the sky or toward the concert, you're going to peek around, or you have that urge to peek around. And that's where you're suddenly looking at the eclipse itself without any glasses on that are protective. So I always say, if you're going to film it, don't look directly at the eclipse itself. You just look at the screen. But if you're going to be facing the eclipse and looking directly at it, you still have to wear those very special glasses.
All right, last question for you. Do you plan on looking and watching the eclipse on April the 8th? And if so, how do you plan on viewing it?
So I personally am not going to be seeing the eclipse myself because I probably will be working. but I will say this. I will say that if I was going to go, to Buffalo or some of the other places you had just shown on the screen, I would say that I would wear these specialized glasses if I was going to look at the sun. But realistically, I would just look at the projection of the rays. I would look at a pinhole camera. There are things you can do where you're not looking directly at the sun itself. But yeah. I would be wearing glasses.
The pinhole method, I remember using that back in 2017 because I myself didn't have the glasses, so I didn't want to take that risk. Real quick, doctor, before we let you go, can you just say again for viewers what it is that serial number
on the ISO?
For the eyeglasses that will protect you?
Absolutely. It's 12312-2. That's the ISO standard.
All right, so look for that on your glasses. Make sure that they're the right ones.
This is the path of the eclipse here from NASA. And you can see here it goes over Texas all the way to Ohio, even New York, and even all the way up to Maine and several states here. For businesses in these states are actually expecting a huge surge of revenue, while other people are saying, be very careful because this is going to be a time of chaos with tens of thousands, millions of people maybe even flocking to this area. So it's a catch-22 where businesses are expecting a maybe 1, 2, 3 day, depending on people staying overnight, traveling there, and getting a surge of businesses or surge of business. And, because depending on how far away they're coming, getting a lot of money. On the other hand, it's going to be a mass amount of people coming there, all for this, quick, maybe once in a lifetime event. And you can see here all this for about 3 minutes of totality, but the actual event will be longer than that, but it'll be about 3 minutes. You can see the time here of total darkness, but the event will be longer than that when the actual sun and everything starts to collide there. So it'll be something to see, but make sure you do it safely. So let me know if you'll be seeing it and what city and state. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here on a daily basis with everything happening here in our country. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't yet. Click the bell icon. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for liking and sharing these videos. Click here to see the insurance nightmare spreading across the country, or click here to see my newest video next. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.